Okay, so it's just like 4 o'clock in the morning. I feel like a little early today. I felt like a little late yesterday, a little early today. So I don't know. Maybe it's like around 5. I feel like is when I start a lot. I don't know. But this morning I was just laying there, and became aware of the room, and started thinking. And then I saw, oh, I want to change this off of the waves. The waves like are so meditative. Like it really keeps my mind in this, put on the healing alpha waves. But anyway, so I didn't know what time it was, and I was laying there, and I looked over, and Stella was laying really funny off the bed. So I was just looking at her, and then she woke up, of course. And so then she wanted to eat a full meal. She had 3 pieces of pizza. I had to stop her on the sweet roll. I bought a sweet roll, and she'd eat the whole damn thing. I got her 2 things of treats yesterday. She had a fit until she got to eat them all. 2 things of jerky. I was like, she was jumping, having just the biggest fit. I was like, okay, you're gonna be out of treats. You're gonna be out of treats. And anyways, so I just got up and started making tea and stuff. And but I felt like really awake before I ever got up. Like I don't feel like I could go back to sleep. But it's like, oh dang, this is gonna be a long day. It's not like there's a whole bunch of pressure with dog sitting or something. And as a matter of fact, I've noticed that I like it. It's a lot easier than babysitting. It's like dogs don't like, they just kind of play and stuff. They don't ask for much. They'll sit and listen to you talk. I was like, and so yesterday was because the dogs seem kind of sad and lonely and stuff. And then the little tiny one, they have a little tiny one that is always scared of me, never wants to come out or something. So I had left and went to the store because he wouldn't eat, wouldn't come out, wouldn't do anything. And so she was asking how he was doing and stuff, and I was telling her, so she was thinking, well, she's going to have to get him picked up. I was thinking, I'm sure he's going to warm up more. And so then I went back, tried to feed him again. Those one dog keeps eating all the food. But then he did start warming up, but I left their front door open, and they have been restricted in the yard. She'd cut their yard up and made different yard areas. And so they had been more restricted. So I had it open so that they had more access. So, because the front door and the side door have 2 different yards. And the little dog won't go out the doggy door. He'll only go out the front door. So I just left it open. So I just sat over there because she had a lot of sun in her driveway. And as I was sitting out in the sun and just letting the dogs hang out, and I was thinking, I mean, what else would I be doing today? It's a nice day. I should be outside. Stella will push me anyways to do stuff like that. Sometimes I think she's my mother. Like, and then, so I would have just sat in here watching movies. So it was like, and that is such a distraction too. Sometimes I just want to get lost in a movie. I just want to watch a movie and forget about everything. So that's a lot. And then, so there was a lot of sun. So I set up a little thing. And so then I even went and got my layout chair. And then I was over there. And then I saw, oh my gosh, there's a lot of sun in my driveway right there. I was like, well, I'm going to lay in her driveway. I could lay in my driveway because usually I lay in the back part. Well, the side part, like, it's hard to explain. Because I have like the little cabin part. Then there was this other little outdoor kitchen building thing. And then the other building's back here. So I have like this middle part where I built this deck. And so that's usually where I lay out, where it's like, I don't know, it's more, nobody can see. So it doesn't seem like you're trying to prance around in your swimming suit. And so, then when I was laying in her yard, hers is a lot more open too. I was like, but yesterday I had on shorts and a sports bra. Today I'm going full on swimming suit. So I'm gonna put on my swimming suit, lay over in her yard, then I'm gonna go over in my yard. I'm gonna go back and forth on the 2 chairs, and I bet you I can get like a couple hours of sun. So I'm all excited about that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like laying out all weekend. As I don't know, that seems like the benefit of going over and doing the dog sitting. So the dogs seemed like kind of sad and lonely. And so they're all coming up. Even the little one that was so scared of me now, he's coming up, climbing on my lap, want me to scratch his ears and stuff. So anyways, when you go and do something, sometimes it'll seem like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much to do. I gotta do this. I gotta get over there so many times. Because you gotta go feed them in the morning, and then go over and through the day and let out the little one. And so, anyways, Stella loves to hang out over there. And I was sitting there, and they're all just laying in the yard in the driveway together. I was like, this is her pack. She didn't have she lost Winston. She's lost. Well, every dog I've even watched, like sometimes when I watch my daughter's dogs or whatever, but she's always, and then I was thinking, why, maybe it's just meant to be me and her for now or something, because everything that I have thought, well, I'll do this or do that and get her a friend, because I had decided I was going to get a pig, so I hadn't been talking about that, but I had this neighbor lady has a pig, and on one of our walks she came out and was talking about how pretty Stella was, and I was like, well, where's the pig? And she's like, inside. I think we're gonna get him a little friend. And so I asked her about the farm, so I went and looked it up, and one just had piglets. So I messaged him, and I wanted a spotted one, and 2 were born right then after I called. Like, I called, and he goes, well, we're expecting some anytime. I'm not sure if they'll be spotted. Then a little while later, then a couple hours later, yeah, she had, and he sent me pictures. But he kept saying, you can't leave a pig and a dog alone together. I was like, well, that wouldn't be a good companion, because I had kept seeing all these companion videos of like dogs being friends with birds, but like all sorts of their cutest videos. And I was like, okay, well, I had a pig before for like 15 years, and I love that pig. But this guy kept being like, no, you have to, inside, I have to keep him indoors, outdoors. It has to have its own pen in the house. Well, I don't have enough house to have a pen inside my house. And my pig didn't have a pen inside the house. Once she started opening the fridge and opening doors and stuff, I put her outside. She had a pen outside, but I opened her pen, and so all day long she would just walk. This is when we had acreage too. She would just walk around the yard, and we had a orchard, so that's where she spent most of her time, or under the bird feeder. So she'd be eating the seeds, or she would go out to the fruit trees, and she'd be eating all the down fruit. Wasps and bees would be on it. She'd just be eating it. It was like intense. But she would keep that all cleaned up. Like, there's benefits to some of this stuff too. And then, you don't have to feed them as much because they're eating all day long. So, but I overfed her. She got too fat. And, anyways, but this guy was like, and then you have to have a pen for outside. You can't have them around all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going in the wrong direction. So I was supposed to pay a deposit yesterday, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And now I got the car thing, and now I'm really thinking, oh, it is kind of like, am I making a priority of my grandkids? Because I did, get surgery. Now my car, like, it can look like, oh, yeah, the weather's bad. You can't cross the mountain. Oh, now you got that. Oh, you got that. And so then it is like, oh, that is like when you're not making something priority. So I really want to make it a priority to get over there. Every time it like, that gives me, I don't know why. It just is such an intense drive too, because you got to go through all the Seattle traffic. Once you get through all of it, and it's like, it is way more than just driving through Seattle. Like, it starts way before Seattle and ends way after Seattle. It's just there's so many people in that area. And then once you get to that, then you're on the fucking mountain pass, and then you got fucking, and parts will go out like 5 lanes, and you're going up, and you got trucks, and then trucks will whip out to, oh my God, it's intense, man. It's intense for sure. And you're going up and down and turning, and so, like, fuck, every time I like think about it and look at the drive, it kind of goes, Fuck. So I really want to just fix this place up and use it as like, I mean, I still want to come here sometimes, but for however long this place lasts, like there's so many people, these, so many people saying there's about to be an earthquake. There's people, I saw people yesterday live saying, Californians, you gotta leave California now. It's gonna go underwater. And it's like that energy where it was like one or two people are cutting out, it's just blowing up more and more and more and more and more. The more people wake up, the more it gets like, ugh, super intense. Like you got, uh, but it's like so many of them are still in the part, like trying to convince people. Like, look, you guys, look at the sun. Okay, look, really, when you're, they're constantly in this. So there's still in this kind of energy of just like not acceptance, kind of arguing and trying to get other people to see what you see and stuff. You just got to be like, trust what you see and not worry about it. But anyways, there's all that energy, like, because something's more real, I guess, if we can get other people to see what's real to us. I don't know, but it's really it's like a part of it. It's a part of this awakening, and where other people try and convince other people of what they're seeing and stuff. But there's all sorts of videos like, why is the sun no longer yellow? Why is the sun so hot? Why is the sun doing that? Why is the moon? Why is there two? Why is there all sorts of stuff? And yesterday when I was driving, there was a streak, white streak in the sky things. And but it wasn't like a really long one. But the weird thing is like when you're out there and you look and they're going up over your head, you can tell. And this one, and I have said so many times about this. Gosh, you have to keep catching my breath. Fuck, man. It's all the time. It's not just, it's all day long. And when I would be driving in a town, I would notice like, I've said before, I feel like we're closer to the dome or something. There's something weird over here about how things are. And I know that we're all in different realms and realities and stuff. I know it's not just this what they tell us. It's not like what they tell us. And even though we can drive, I mean, you can walk from fucking India to Mexico and not even look like you break a sweat. So the where was I? Okay, let me think if I got lost or if I'm done with that. Energy is intense. Oh yeah. And it's so weird. And they're doing something with the algorithm too. Like, and people keep talking about that too. Like, I don't even know what they're doing. It's like it's weird. Like, you're seeing old videos, seeing whatever they're doing. Oh yeah, but I did see, because this was, you got people outraged over this. Like, people are very upset about this. Is Biden taking a crap in his diaper, I guess. Apparently. Who knows? I don't know. Because we know it's not really, this old man taking a crap. We know it's really, probably a comedian making fun of this whole situation. But so he's very exaggerated, of course. And it's at a vet's event. And it's also got this French president, which I guess the French president, weird dance-off situation was somebody did that creation, some kind of CGI thing. So that wasn't him, because I was like, what the hell? Where do they go? To like strip clubs to find these people? Like, you want to be a president? So anyways, they've got, this place is so weird. And so anyways, Joe is on stage. He's got all these vets behind us, and he's got him and his wife over here, and the other president and his wife standing here or something. And I swear there's still something weird about all this French president stuff, because what are they talking about with this old lady, with this young guy? And I don't know, because this lady didn't look like the same lady I've seen. But I don't know, all these different leaders. There's so many of these people. I didn't even know who Nancy Pelosi was a long time ago, or any of these people. Like, you'd hear their names, but boy, I don't really know who these people are now. So he, he just all of a sudden, like, crouches down like he's about to sit down, but he just stays there, and then people around him, you start seeing him go like, like, which you could think, oh, well, see, he's probably really doing something. Um, but I was thinking even like in court where they kept saying Trump was farting and stuff, like all you have to do is take some cooked broccoli or some bratwurst or what is that stuff? It's this weird meat stuff, like this creamy meat thing. I don't think it's called bratwurst, but something. You open that, it's a horrible smell. And broccoli or boiled eggs or some stuff you could have in your briefcase, it would be horrible smelling. And, and that could make the courtroom think like, especially if he's sitting on like some kind of like little fart thing, they have the little fart pillow things. So I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to make the whole courtroom think this guy's just farting because they'll get media attention. It's so easy. And so so now we got Joe just constantly farting and stuff. And now he's apparently taking a crap. And these people doing these breakdowns, it's kind of funny. Or it really is funny. But and the people being so outraged, like people keep acting like this is really Joe, which, the fraud has been in front of Congress or the Senate or whatever for some courtroom drama to get us all to see and pay attention and stuff. Because this stuff is all for show. The real trials is of military, and but the thing is that this fella, that when you do the pictures of the old guy, or his old pictures and his new pictures, it's not the same person. And that's what I've been saying. A lot of these people are already gone, or at least behind bars. That this is all like a play out kind of situation. This is just a big show so that we can get everybody kind of like on the same page and see what's been going on. But so Joe does this bend over kind of thing, and I guess on the microphone you can hear a couple of big farts too. But it's like, I don't know, this is where we're going now. Joe's just become so mentally declined that, what's going to happen if this is like the lead into that, it's definitely doing stuff to make him out to be a bumbling fool. Like I said, this whole thing is like it's to, of course, draw attention. And he was such a bad player that it was going to take down a lot of people. Like, look at his connections. And he just skating through life. Like a lot of these people just skating through life in the dark. And, but all their connections. And so it's certain people, like when you think like, well, why'd they put him in for but look at this whole show about him being such he's such a puppet, I mean, he can't keep his lines straight and poops and farts and publicly and, just talks nonsense. So, that's, I don't know. It's kind of like to get people like, you're accepting this guy to run our country. Like, and he doesn't even know where he's at. Like, he's a total puppet, you can tell. Like, they just go to some of them, they go to the strip club and look for people to work, and some of them, they go to the nursing home. It's just it's a front. But some of these people, though, who went into politics and stuff, when the chips were down, they wanted to fill their pockets with them and would do anything it took. That's a desperation. And that is even as our society, why we got to stop looking at poverty as like a crime or the worst thing. You got to look at it from a spiritual perspective of poverty, of all the lessons you learn and stuff. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, man, all these homeless people, because when this all started and they were kicking their ass with the weather, these freezes and all that, I was like, I thought they were going to kill off all the homeless people like fucking 2021. And that there's still so many, and it's growing. Like, the population is growing. And so it's not like they can't kill them off. And that is, it's like the people who are leaving the system, really, when you think about it. And I was thinking about, like, fuck, some of these homeless people, they're like motherfucking warriors. And look how strong they are to be able to go out and withstand all of this stuff. And I know that there's a lot, going down with drugs, and, there's a lot of people who aren't doing well. But still, there's so many lessons that people learn through going through that. And as a soul, you get caught up in the 3D, you think like, well, that's no way to live. But as a soul, when all you're looking for is to learn and to grow, it's like, ugh, you learn and grow a lot through, um, through, what is that word? Through, not having, through lack, through not having something. Because when you have everything you need and you have nothing, what is forcing you to do any kind of growth? And then even when you have more than you need, then you lose sight of what is like real, or what's happening for other people. And so there's all different lessons and all different states of being. But anyways, I think that there's a lot of reasons why we're going through all of this loss right now. And so many people are saying, like, I can't get a house, I can't get a job, I can't, but it's like the system is failing us. The system is nothing we want to hold on to. So we need that to happen. We need all these people to fall off of it, because that is the collapse of it. And there are so many signs that we're in the middle of this money thing is going. Like, I already think it is going for sure. But I mean, like, we're like right on the edge of the collapse, because the debt clock, a lot of people were sharing the video. The debt clock went 000, says that we don't owe any money and none of us owe anything. And the BRICS is something about they're starting their own currency now, which I thought they already had. But the BRICS thing, remember, is all about this going on the gold standard, going into peace treaty. It's all about that. And so all these people, and now, but this is also to freeze out all the other places that are being held by the bankers. We're still under that as part of the show. Like, I think it's more about the show. But, God, I keep taking a deep breath. Hold on. And it still feels really tight right there, too. So the, fuck. So anyways, the BRICS now is going to have some currency that's going to take us $55 to be able to buy one of their things. But I mean, really, it would be so much more, because they're going on the gold standard, and it goes by weight. It doesn't go by like paper. And so you're it's gonna be the thing with silver and stuff too. And it used to be, when they had coins, that they were made out of gold and silver, and so you had like, half an ounce that was worth whatever. Now it's like way more. They used to use those, and it was way less. Like an ounce was worth, I don't know, because they had coins. And so, and I don't know how much stuff a coin would buy you. I don't know, maybe you would take in one coin, it would buy you all your groceries or something. But anyways, that's how they used to do it, is that the money was made out of the gold or the silver, and it was by the ounce, and that's what your money was worth. And that's what we're going to be going back to. And so when you think about them going on the gold standard stuff, well, gold is worth like, I think it's like $3,500 an ounce or something. It might even be more than that. And see, that's what's going to happen with silver. Right now, like before, I don't know right now, but before you could go buy it and it was like $28 an ounce. And that's going to jump up to the worth is going to be more like 600 to 1,000 an ounce. And then once the technology starts, they're expecting the silver is going to go way up even more because the technology that there is silver thread. There's a silver thread in our future. And it makes me think kind of like the clothes that knights wear and stuff. So I don't know if it's going to be something in our clothes that's protective or what it is going to be. But there's something about silver and thread that is in this technology that's going to make the silver go up way higher. And so when they're sitting there saying like we could take 55 worthless pieces of paper and get one of their coins of gold, I'm like, okay, so it would have to be like such a tiny bit. Like I think we wouldn't be able to buy anything. But the thing how they're doing it is so we can't afford to buy supplies from any other country because all the countries on there aren't going to take our money. It's going to take way much more of our money. So where we've been able to go buy, a t-shirt from China for $3, then it's gonna end up being more like $150 for a little t-shirt because the price of what it is. So that is where a lot of stores won't be able to buy supplies. A lot of, however it's going to go down, it's going to be, and it could go down, I mean, like that's the drug out version, which everything has been so drug out. So we may have to go through this like financial collapse like that. Or, it can just get up like this 000 on the net clock could mean something. And that this is the big moves because there were a lot of people were saying June was going to be significant and that this was going to be a really hot summer with probably temperature wise. And there has been tons and tons of earthquakes, all little small ones, but all around over in California and stuff, like lots and lots of little ones. So everything is like shaking up too. Yesterday I started feeling like the ground was like vibrating. I was like, oh crap, is this going to be it? Is this the earthquake? As we got past that guy's prophecy thing, because he had prophesied some other volcano, and then he said we were going to have the big earthquake here by the 6th. So now it's the 8th, I think. So anyways, but, it's coming. Whatever is, going to change things up. It's coming. And I know there's going to be some big earthquakes. And there's one, too, that's going to, like, split. Oh, because somebody was saying, too, that's going to set off some earthquake that's over by the Mississippi that's how it's going to split. That's where there's going to be this big split that's going to happen. And when you look at the new map, you can see that it looks like there's going to be parts like where they, if they're going to call us America still, that we would have to go. It's going to be way different for traveling around than how it is now. Like, it's going to be a lot different. Just go look at the map and then, like, look at how you would go to places and stuff. Because I've done that. Especially when I'm trying to think, well, would I want to live over here? Okay, so if I lived over here and my kids are over here. But I also know that at some point, which I don't know how soon this is going to be, but we'll travel, like, through some kind of portals, or there are little flying cars. Maybe they'll, I don't know. It's going to change, though. It's not going to be so cumbersome. Everything is kind of heavy and drudgery, here. It's like it's all hard, and it's going to get a lot easier. So everything's going to get easier and simplified. It's like they wanted to keep everything hard because that is what drags us down. I was thinking again about the whole thing with aging. Oh, because this video I saw yesterday, I think Amy had sent it to me, was this nurse, a hospice nurse. And in California, apparently, if you have a certain diagnosis, that you're allowed to kill yourself. And so, and remember, you can't die unless you were, oh, it was already it. That's because you can only leave the way you were going to leave. You can't just all of a sudden disrupt it. You can't accidentally get killed before you were going to die. It's like, no, that's when you were going to die. That's how you were going to die. Some people go by accidents. Some people go by tragedies. Some people go by their own hands. Some people go by long drawn out things. They all have a purpose and a meaning. And so this woman was talking about this man, was like 96 years old or something. God, it's so tight in my chest. And I've been coughing and coughing a lot. And I just drank my Mullen tea too. But anyways, so this guy, he had retired when he was 60 because he thought he was going to die when he was young. So he retired when he was 60. So him and his wife had like 20 years. They traveled, they just did all sorts of stuff. And then she died. And so then he had to live all this time without her. And so he felt like he had lived a full life. He was like, I've done everything. Now I just want to get back, I want to, and he had a strong belief in the afterlife because, yeah, afterlife is real. And I feel like a part of what they don't want to happen is people to age, because wisdom comes with age. And if they can keep everybody distracted and hurry and kill us off before we have time to learn and grow. So that's what they try and do. And so anyways, this guy believes in the afterlife, and he wanted to go be with people that had already passed that he knew. And all his kids were older. So his kids, I guess, were like in their 70s and stuff. So all his kids were older. So they were sad that this dad was going to go. But then they were happy for him because he was so happy to get the hell out of here. And he has some kind of metastatic cancer or something. So you can get this knockout juice, and it puts you out. And so then that was kind of weird, because that was just you know how like alcohol, how they say it's like got spirits, and then it's like, do you just go into like a certain realm or something? Like, I don't know. But if you were meant to go this way, you would go this way. So I just was thinking, like, all this way of them trapping souls and stuff. Like, they've got this whole trap set. So, anyways, so the woman said that normally you take the drink and then you go to sleep in like 5 or 10 minutes. And then she said it takes like 45 minutes for the person to die. And this guy wanted this nurse to come because she had become close with their family. And so she came and gave him his drink, and he was all excited, drunk it real quick. She said within 5 minutes he was asleep, and she said within 5 minutes he was gone. She said it was the weirdest thing. She'd never seen anything like it. He was serious. He was like, I'm out. I just want to go home. And but he had lived a long time. And she said, well, she would go because he was on hospice. And when she would go and see him and stuff, that he would tell her lots of stories of all the things he had seen over the years. And that is something that I noticed. And when I was younger, and I went to hair school right out of high school, and the people who would come in and get their hair done were all these little old ladies because they didn't have a lot of money. It was like, I don't know, like $4 for us to do their hair. And so all our clients in hair school were all these little old ladies. And they would come in weekly. And so you would sit and talk to them each week if they liked you, and they came back and had you do their hair. Sometimes they wouldn't like you or like how you did their hair, and so they go to a different one. But so you talk to this person, and they would tell you all sorts of stories about their lives and stuff. And I used to think, oh my gosh, they got to live through so many interesting things, so many changes. Like one of them, her cousin was the Wright brothers. Her cousins were the Wright brothers, and she'd tell me about going out and watching them making their stuff when she was a kid. And there was just interesting stories where I kept thinking, gosh, there's not going to be anything. Like, there's going to be nothing that's happening through my life. There's going to be nothing interesting. And then you start living your life, and it's like, oh my gosh, you get to live through so many interesting things. One thing even where I see these people keep doing these retro videos showing like the club in the 80s. people dancing in the 70s, what people were doing back in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. And just getting to live through those different times, because people who were live in other times, like people who were in the 80s born, have no idea what it was like to be born in the 60s. And the it's very specific, like what it is that you get to experience when you're born in these different decades. But it's so crazy because it's like people nowadays think everything was a different way than how it was. So when you really got to experience the things, and somebody was saying, like, I'll see videos like, I wish I could have gone and been into clubs like this. I wish I could have went to parties where, people weren't all looking at their phones and talking and stuff. And the way, girls danced was much different too. Like, girls had clothes on and they were really dancing. They weren't just, trying to hump in front of everybody, So the dancing has changed too. It's become so erotica or something. It's I don't know, like that one wedding video where that kid went over and punched the guy who was dirty dancing with his mom. And his mom's like bent over all the way with her ass up in the air, and this guy's just humping away on it. And at their wedding, like, this is a wedding dance thing. And that's just like how our society has become. Oh, you just like, let's just do a little sex show out here. And it used to be like getting into the music and dancing. So I don't know. There's so many things that went in a dark direction. Like, people don't even know how to go out and just enjoy feeling the music and dancing. And it's so nice. 'Cause yesterday when I was coming into my house, um, I had the music going. And so I was come in and I would start dancing and stuff. And I like to shut my eyes when I dance. It's like you go into a different world. You, it's like communicating with your body internally or something, and feeling the music and just getting all like lost in the music. And it feels so good. And I don't know, it seems like so many people, it's like a performance or something, a sexual show, to, the girl who can be the sexiest out there on the dance floor. Then, I don't know. And I don't mean like sexy with her. I'm talking like sex show kind of thing. So then it's like uh, an award or something, like, oh, wow, she's got it going on. But I think people are like changing a lot now. Like, people are starting to look at that like, like, it's like what I had said. More and more people getting cringe over makeup, getting cringe over filters, like everything that is like fake about people. It's turning people off more and more and more and more, because we all are craving like something different. That's what's moving us. That's what the motivation is. We're craving something that's more real, more connected. And you got to connect with yourself to connect with others. You can't connect with others if you are just lost in your own world. And I don't mean lost in a good world. I'm talking about where you're just like on defense, like you're lost in your own pain and suffering more. Because you can be lost. I'm lost in my own world all the time. But it's more like when you're lost in your pain and suffering, then you're just on autopilot. You're in lower chakra. And so you're just reactive. So you're not really making choices for yourself through the day. You're just reacting to whatever happens to you. It's like you're just fighting back. It's like being in defense in life instead of offense. I don't know. I'm not a sports person. Like, if I'm saying this right, but instead of you taking action, you're just like fighting off everything happening to you. And so the more that you can get in tune with yourself and heal yourself and stop worrying about what others think and stuff, because those are the things that draws people, that holds people, like the chains that hold people back, is being so worried, like, well, they may not like me, they may not accept me. And that is those connections from that are deep, that are about the wounds of rejection, and like not being able to please different people, which it can be like right now, it's so much with people's families and stuff. But in past lives, it could be so much bigger, the things of what it was. Like, this is like kind of like condensing it down. So you have to face it. So bring it into like your family so that you have to face and deal with some of the stuff to heal your wounds as a soul. That's what I'm saying. Don't just block everybody out of your life. Really focus on you healing and setting boundaries and being real. Like, that's a part of even setting boundaries, is when you go around people, not to be fake or phony, to put your real self out there. And then when they're not accepting, that's when you have boundaries. It's not like, well, you have to like me, you have to call me you have to do this, you have to do that. No, you have to let go of trying to control others. You don't have control over other people. And if you're going to sit there and be all upset and mad all day long, then you're doing that to yourself. Because do you want other people to control you? Like, so why should you control other people? There is not one of us that has all the answers, that we all need to live like this person says. No, we all have to get comfortable with ourselves and stop thinking that we have to be something that somebody else wants us to be. And there is a whole toxic characteristic to this whole dialogue, this whole form of being. And so this is breaking molds, is the molds are like the accepted ways of being. So yeah, you got to just be yourself. And then, you know, if people don't accept you, you don't have to get mad and angry about it, but you going and showing your true self and not being accepted for being real is better than hiding yourself. And then especially hiding yourself to try and conform and make other people happy. So just went off all of a sudden. And then the I think what I was saying. Because I have these other things that keep coming in my head. Maybe I'm getting too long on this. Sometimes I feel like I gotta over-explain things. But it's like a current theme that I'm talking about. So if you've been listening to me, I think you get what I'm saying. And there's this one girl who I see, I mean, she's always talking about dating and stuff. She's this one girl who I've said that she's very, very attractive. And I think, you know, she knows it. But she is, uses her looks. People who have looks, feel like that they know people like their looks. A lot of people use their looks. And that is superficial or shallow. But this girl, she has a lot of smart things to say. I'm not saying, you know, because there's other people who don't say anything and just, you know, and there's other people who just do lip syncing and, you know, don't speak their truth, but still use their looks to get attention. But anyways, you know that this girl's, you know, DMs have got to be blowing up all the time. But she's always talking about dating, always talking about, you know, you can't find somebody and, you know, it's so hard or whatever. But the other day she was doing some response video to somebody else who was saying that once I've healed, I just can't date anymore. That's the only part I saw of the Stitch part, the girl who, and then the other girl steps in and starts saying, well, if you are feeling that way, it's because you haven't healed. You have more healing to do. And so me as observer, I'm not going to go stitch and, you know, but I'll come tell y'all. So because my attitude is, well, yeah, when you're healed, you know, you would be a better option for somebody to date. But as the healed person, as a spiritually healed person, you don't see the value of running around and shopping and looking like, oh, you know, are you my mother? Are you my mother? Who, you know, it is, it's a toxic environment. The dating scene is a toxic environment full of toxic people that are looking and yearning for something. And so as you heal, you know, a lot of people get into the thing of like, well, now I'm ready to start dating. And so they start forcing, like what I keep talking about. They're trying to force something on the universe. They're trying to make something happen. What you're going to make happen is lessons. I'll tell you that. And so and then they do get all upset because, well, this isn't working. Well, that guy has failed, and that guy, it's like that is what you're there to go through, that experience. You're trying to force something. The universe brings stuff to you. You don't have to force it. It comes right and lands in your lap. So but that is in your spiritual knowing, that what is for you will always find you. You don't have to go out and search for it. It's coming your direction. Like you're on the ride. You're trying to run ahead. You're trying to force. And then when you start thinking, well, why am I trying to force this or that? Well, usually it's because you're comparing yourself, or you think this person has it better. There's always a reason. There's some kind of lure that is got your attention. So that is why it's a lot better to get into your practice of your communication with the universe, so you can be like, okay, I don't need to go chase this. I don't, what's meant for me will find me. And so, yeah, I don't think as a healthy person, who's healed and isn't toxic and playing games, I completely am in alignment with the other girls saying, like, I just gonna date after that. Like, no. It's like, why? What's the point? I'm not gonna go out and just sleep with some rando. I'm not gonna, and it's just a whole thing to it. And it's shocking to me when I hear somebody who's healed who wants to go out and date, and I see lots of these pretty girls who have healed, who was in bad relationships, and now they're excited to get out there and date. It's like there's got to be something more in their healing. There's got to be something, and the only thing I can think of is like a spiritual connection, like that philosophy of understanding, like what's meant for you will find you, will come to you. And you don't have to go out and work the numbers to try and find what the universe doesn't expect that of you. Like, you expect that of you. You're trying to force something. You don't understand how the world works. You don't understand why you're here. And a lot of people know, like, well, I know I'm here to find love. I feel this need to share my love with someone. So that is like an internal feeling, that is your desire. That is like, so that is, you should know, like, okay, so there's a plan somewhere up in there. There's going to be somebody pretty terrific that's going to come into my orbit. And so you don't have to go and force it. You got to get into alignment with it. And so the universe will continue to create experiences for you to become into alignment with this love partner. And so, and sometimes your experiences are other people coming in, because these other people coming in teach you about how to love yourself. And so the experience goes towards your direction, but your desire is there. So that should tell you that that is in your future. But the desire creates the desire creates like a, what would that be? It's like this, like the people become where they feel desperate. Like the desire creates desperation. Like, I've got to do this myself, like in not realizing that the universe has got your back. The universe is there for you, and you are a part of the universe. It's you. So that's why you got to, learn how to love yourself and communicate with yourself. And so the love story will play itself out. You don't have to force it by running around and going on websites and shopping for men, or shopping for women, or whoever, shopping for a partner. And it's so fake and phony, the whole thing. And so, yeah, I think it's way more about this becoming spiritual in your approach to life than to get out of this trying to control the ride. Like, trying to control life is something that's going to keep you feeling always in turmoil. And yeah, it is very uncomfortable sometimes to let go, especially when everything's like falling apart, doesn't make sense, you don't know what you're going to do, blah blah blah. And you just are like, well, it's out of my hands, I gotta let go. And, it takes self-talk and breathing and a lot of stuff to get through it, but that is where you grow. So you don't need to force everything. It's learning how to relax and let things happen for you. So it's like learning how to relax on the ride. And this, I talked about this, I don't know. I think it was like a week or two ago. I don't know. I've lost such track of time. Like it's wild how time is right now to me. But I had said about these two tall people that had done this interview, and now it was the cutest thing. This guy is like 6'5", I think he is. He could be 6'7", he could be 6'9". I don't know. I think he's 6'5". And so he's a super tall, super handsome fella, athletic looking, and he was on the streets of somewhere. I'm not really sure where they were. And this tall girl goes walking up, and he's doing interviews of people on the street. And this tall girl comes walking up, or walking by him, and he stops to interview her. And she's super cute. Like, they're so cute. And she is 6'1", but she has on heels. And so she said she's like 6'3". And because he asks her how tall they are. So he's interviewing her, and it's super flirty. My stomach's totally growling, but I got a sweet roll in there. And I'm gonna make some more tea. And so he is really flirty and talking to her, and she's really cute. Like, when you look at them, they are like so cute. They look like the perfect match, this couple. And they're so adorable. And so he's talking to her, and she's like flirty. And then she says, well, I also do what you're doing. I also interview on the street. See, they're in alignment. They do the same thing, and they're interested in the same kind of things. So she says, I'd love to interview you. And so that becomes their second date or their first date or something. So she goes and interviews him, and they're doing all this publicly. Like, this is going, like, this has got so many people invested. This is the cutest fucking love story. You can't even believe it. This morning I already cried over it. It's so fucking cute. And so they're documenting these on their platforms, because they both had a platform and they were doing like the same kind of thing. And so now there's all these people, like, well, there's tons of us following this thing. So so he asks her to go out, and I think they have the interview, but then they go to meet for coffee, because I think they have the interview before the coffee, because there's two different videos, but also you get videos from him and her. So now there's like some of their friends are involved, I think. One of their friends is their cameraman, so he's involved, and the other one, maybe it's her camera girl. But so, yeah, you got more people involved now, so you got lots of videos going on this. And so they had their coffee restaurant date, which was so cute. They were same kind of this, you can just feel this, like, this tension between them. Like, you could just feel like this vibe, and this flirty and giggly, and it's just so cute. And so he was leaving to go back home the next day, and so she was saying something, it was almost like you could hear the disappointment, like she wanted more time with them. And but he had to go. So now videos are one of his cameraman talking about it, and he has gotten home, and videos of, what is it, there's like so many videos now, but the one this morning that got me crying was he wrote a song. Oh my God. He wrote a song, and he goes out and sings it with this guitar, and oh, it's gonna make me cry again. It is the cutest thing. and how, you know, she came into his life. And I don't, I'll share the video because I'm just going to start crying even trying to talk about it. It is the cutest, most romantic thing you can imagine. And then there's a video, like, must be her camera girl showing somebody, she got the phone and she's seeing him do the song. Oh my God, I can't believe how much I want to cry over this. It's so cute though. And so she's just sitting there and watching. And I can't imagine being a girl, like, in the song that he's writing is like, uh, you know, like bearing his soul, very vulnerable, and saying, you know, how he really wants to spend time with her or get to know her or something. Like, you get the whole thing out of this song, which I'll play the song. You can listen to it for yourself, and or I'll share it in the videos, and then her watching it, which she doesn't have any reaction. She's just sitting there watching it. Like, I would think that that would just be so, like, that would be so much. This guy is like publicly playing the sweetest song, this most romantic gesture imaginable. And so, uh, but he wants her to fly out there. So he wants her. So I don't know if this was the invite or he'd already sent her a ticket. Like, I don't know what their conversations are. I'm sure they're talking by phone and text and stuff. But anyways, it's just adorable. Like, and this is just it's getting more like, and I think there's going to be more of these. There's going to be more of these relationships coming into alignment. Like, I think this is what I'm talking about. Like, you know, this, like, the universe brings it to you. Like, that girl just walked up on him. Like, he wasn't on that. And they had both gone on dating things. They've been talking about that too, the dating scene. And one thing too with tall guys is, this happens also with girls, but the tall guys that they're saying, you know, girls just want to date you. They just don't even care. So every girl wants to go out with them because they're tall. And people think, well, you know, how lucky you get everybody who wants to go out with you. But you don't know what that's like unless you've gone through it. And it is, it's like you can be drowning in what everybody else wants from you. So it's not like, oh, well, isn't that lucky? Nobody ever asked me out. Like, ain't got everybody. Well, that is, everything is about different kinds of lessons, and looking and thinking somebody else has got it better. It's like, you know, you're lucky that you're not having to go through all these different ones. Like, your lessons isn't about that. And I think the more people learn to love themselves, the more you're going to come into alignment with somebody who loves you back. How can you have somebody love you back when you don't love yourself? You can't even put all that pressure on somebody. Here, love me enough that I can feel better because I don't love myself. So I need somebody else to fill in the gaps. No, you got to learn how to love yourself so that when you love yourself, then it's like your soul group that loves you, then you pull yourself into alignment with that group. So then you can come into alignment with your counterpart, you know, somebody who's in your vibration of when you love yourself, your highest vibration of you loving yourself. So that to me is what this is about. And there's going to be more and more of these kind of relationships to show people. Like, you don't have to keep going out and forcing this. Like, these dating websites and stuff are going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be way more like these people who are like, I wish I was in the 80s and 70s. It's going to go way more back to that, of people going out and socializing publicly, and not so much of just going out and getting drunk together and see who hooks up. No, going out and socializing, going out and dancing. I'm telling you, I feel so sure that it's going to go back, like full circle back to those, you know, community get-togethers where, you know, you got bands playing, people dancing, you got people over here cooking, and it's going to be so much more of community parties, not like going to the club and trying to hook up. It's going to be just more of a connection and more of a vibe, more of people, feeling good and connected and enjoying, and more of people showing their artistic creativity and, music and stuff. It's going to go in that direction as we evolve, because that is where there was so much connection and peace in our lives. And then when people see the videos, people are always like, gosh, I want that. That's what we're going to go towards. And so there's going to be more of that, and more where people see, like, people even watching the videos and noticing, like, nobody has their phone. There's nobody with phones. People are like looking at each other and waving and smiling and talking. There's little groups talking everywhere. Yeah, that's what we had. We had to get over our awkwardness. And then look at what has happened. People have more anxiety, more awkward, because they didn't have to go through that stuff. They could just hide in their phones. So, and that is going to feel super vulnerable to start being able to connect outside of your phone. So that is where you got to, take those little steps to keep doing that, putting your phone down, even if you start by just going to like a restaurant and you're waiting in the line, and everybody, as soon as somebody's doing something awkward, it's like, boop, right into your phone. "Ah, I'm not awkward. I'm just looking at my phone." And so phones become like a crutch, so that you have something, so you don't have to feel awkward. Well, no, you got to go out and feel awkward. That's how you stop feeling awkward. You're just building the awkwardness up, because you are distancing yourself from this being able to come out of your shell. You're just closing yourself in more. So you don't want to be, using your phone as a crutch. As soon as you feel that motivation to, oh, I feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna get my phone out, I'm just gonna check my messages. Don't do it. Just leave your phone sitting, and, look around, smile at people. And there's probably somebody who is standing there who is dying to talk to somebody. And the thing that's so crazy is when you start doing that and start breaking out of your shell like that, that is where things start happening. Like the person that you start talking to in the line, because both of you aren't on your phone, you start chit-chatting, and then, invite you to a pool party on the weekend. You go to a pool party on the weekend, and there's somebody who you were meant to meet right there. So that is why not having your face in your phone and having your face up, looking at other people in connection, that is where, and it feels vulnerable. People are, especially coming from where people have gotten themselves to, it's going to feel so much more like desperate. Everybody's going to think I'm desperate. I'm a weirdo looking around, smiling at people. No, everybody's going to turn more into that. Everybody's going to turn more into the weirdo who's smiling. You're just going to be, one of the leaders of the pack. So, yeah, you got to do things that are uncomfortable in order to get the direction going. You can't sit back always waiting for someone else to do it. And I'll just keep my phone in my face until everybody else puts their phones down. Then I'll put my phone down. That's what we're breaking free from. That's where we get called sheep and shit. So don't wait for other people to do it. Do things that make you uncomfortable. And you'll see that doing things that make you uncomfortable make you more comfortable. Like, it grows you past that discomfort. It makes you feel like, because yeah, it was awkward, to be 16, 17 years old and go to parties and go and, have them talk to people and stuff. But there was more connection. There was a lot more. There was a lot of drama too. But there was, you felt like a part of something. You had a crowd. You had people you hung out with. And, we did have things to talk about with each other. So anyways, that is going more towards that. If you just keep your face in your phone all the time, everywhere you go, because you feel more comfortable, because you don't want anybody to think like you don't have anybody to talk to or something. I'm not really sure why it is. Like, we all need to go around looking like, well, we're so important. There's always somebody who wants to talk to me. I'm so important. But I don't know. I just feel like there's more to just putting your stuff down and joining the world that's out there living for you, because your experiences are there for you. But if you keep looking away from them, then how are you going to have any? So it is, but I can totally see, so many people are super vulnerable, and it gives them a lot of anxiety. And another thing too is, because I've done these different things, is going out to eat by yourself, go to the movies by yourself. Like, there's a lot of things that we always think of as you do it with pairs and stuff, and you start doing it. Man, my stomach's growling like crazy. Can't barely breathe. So but when you go and do those things as an independent, then it makes you feel more empowered. Yeah, it feels super uncomfortable, super duper uncomfortable to sit in a restaurant when you got people all around you. It used to be even worse. Now I think when people see somebody sitting and eating by themselves, they don't think that much about it. But still, if you're the person sitting eating by yourself, you do feel like, man, there's nobody to talk to. What am I supposed to do? I don't want to just sit and look at my phone. Like, let's do a crossword. Like, there is. But it gets you a feeling of like, I don't know. It's almost like breaking the ice of having everybody stare at you. It's like, okay, well, everybody stared at me and I lived. It was okay. I'm fine. And, everybody has their own thought. And then you think like, well, their thoughts come from them. And maybe they're too insecure to sit by themselves. Maybe they're very dependent on having a lot of people around them all the time. And that can be super toxic. So there's lots of things that help you, break free from just this design of like how we're supposed to act or what we're supposed to do or something. Break the mold, go do some stuff that's odd or strange. And and there's lots of things like, be the first one out on the dance floor, dance by yourself, close your eyes and just ignore the world. And be that person where everybody's sitting in the audience going like, you think they're on drugs? What do you think's wrong with them? Because really, what's wrong with us to think because someone is participating in life that they must be on drugs and something's wrong with them? Like, that's where we got to start seeing what the problem is. The problem is us and how we look at things and how we all want everybody to stay in this little comfort zone for us. It becomes a moldy society when we're all trying to fit in molds. So is like break free from that and just do things that you think are strange or whatever. But really, as much as you can, of breaking free from your phone and getting more in, different in grocery store lines and automotive store lines and everywhere you go, the gas station. Yesterday I was talking to a guy at the gas station. I always leave my car running when I pull up to the gas station. I know that just is like very intense to some people. I used to always turn it off, and then there just became a certain time where it was like, okay, I think this is some bullshit that they tell us that our cars are going to blow up. I was like, why wouldn't we see cars blowing up all the time? I don't know. Maybe I'm really crazy or something, but I just think like that's bullshit. You're putting gas in the car and you can't have it running. Like, what do you think is going to do? And I don't know. It just seems strange. Like, even, I don't know. Now I'm getting like the spark of the thing clicking, blowing up the car. Like, maybe I'll start turning it off. But anyway, so the guy at the gas station, he's doing the trash. So he comes over next to me and I'm just finishing up getting my gas. And he goes, you're supposed to turn your car off. And I said, yeah, I know, but it seems stupid to me. And he goes, well, you could have a fire. And I said, yeah, they say that, but when a car's blowing up all over the place at gas stations, like, I mean, they've been saying this since I was a kid, and I've left my car running a lot of times, and, I don't know, maybe it is super dangerous. I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, why would they even let us handle these things? If it was so dangerous, we could blow up neighborhoods. So I'm thinking, I don't know. It seems like they're just, it's more about controlling us, like to not think for ourselves. And So the guy is like, well, there has been some cars that have blown up at some gas stations. And I'm thinking, all my years, what have I seen? Like two or three? And how many of those is like somebody driving? I mean, I've seen more videos, I think, of people driving off and pulling the damn gas thing out of pulling that thing apart while their gas is in there. Well, why wouldn't that fucking have blown some shit up? Like, that seems pretty crazy. So, I don't know. It seems like sparks be flying, the car's starting, and got gas wide open. So, I don't know. It all seems a little wacky to me. It seems like, oh, well, we can tell them anything. They'll believe anything. They'll do whatever we say. It's like, I don't know. I'm going to test it a little bit. Now I'm thinking, it's a little strange. I don't get it. But anyways, he's like, telling me that some cars do blow up at the gas station. And I said, well, whatever happens is meant to happen. It's like, have a good day. He's like, yeah, have a good day. I'm like, I have to leave you with that. But most people don't get that thing. It's like, you have to be kind of understand how the universe works, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. How it's going to happen is how it's going to happen. And what happens is meant to happen. We can't stop the inevitable. And you can't get upset, because those are your lessons. Those are where you're here to learn and to grow. So those are opportunities. And there was another thing. Let me think. Okay, crap in his pants. The love story. I love this love story. There's going to be so many more of these cute love stories that are going to come, as this is like the changing the directions of society, where there's going to be so much more of like people seeing these, like, oh, look at that, they just met and clicked. And where people are going to be like, want to go out and go out and click with somebody, not just go out and force dating and go sit awkwardly across from somebody at a table, feel weird to chew. And the whole thing is so weird. And I mean, it's one thing, like if, you meet somebody and they want to go out and get to know you and go have meals with you and stuff like that. But to just go out with strangers that you've never even, well, a lot of people talk to each other on emails and stuff in these, like on Tinder. There's a bunch of these things, Hinge, Tinder, like, I don't even know all these different ones. But people usually all have some kind of communication. But still, when you go out and you sit there and meet somebody, a stranger, there's people who, this was kind of sad, because this guy went to go pull up for the date. The person's there. He gets out of his car and says something. And the person says, well, no, I'm going to go to this other place. Follow me. So the guy starts following him. The car starts speeding up to the point where he loses them. So he starts trying to call him, and they blocked him. So the guy was doing a video really sad. Like, am I that strange looking or something? He just looked like a regular guy. But that's one thing too, is even when somebody's pictures come out, sometimes that you go and you meet them in person, it's like, it's a totally different vibe than what your pictures were showing, And and then people take it personally, which, really, like, if somebody's like that, you'd want them to hurry up and pull off. Why would you want to waste another second with them? And, don't take it personally if somebody doesn't like the way you look, because you got to remember, you don't need 100,000 people to think you're good looking. The person who matters, the person who's there to win your heart, is going to love the way you look. So how many people do you really need to love the way you look? You need to love the way you look. You need to love yourself. You need to feel like you are at your best, you're doing your best, and you're trying to be your best. Then it will give you something to love about yourself. And then the person who really loves you is going to be enamored with you. They're going to, because it's not even about your looks as much as it is this connection. The connection is like, you're their perfect person. They're your perfect person. And I'm excited to see if these two are the perfect person. I think this is going to be a total love connection with them, because of how it went down and what we are experiencing with the energy and where we're headed. we're headed away from all this artificial bullshit and corporate, dating sites and all this shit. We're headed towards, more basic living, like connection, enjoying yourself, just like this more basic thing. We're going towards that. Just those incidental meetings, somebody coming across you, you finding each other in just stranger kind of ways, and like where you just realize like this just came right into my life. It just like fell right into my hands. And so that more instead of this chasing something all the time. So anyways, that's where I think we're going with love. And I think that there's going to be there's a lot more of like the darkness of love falling apart, like the stuff coming out with all the, oh my gosh, the Kardashian stuff, the Diddy stuff, like all these different things. It's like this real darkness being purged out. At the same time, the light's coming in, and the light is going to bring in love, connection, unity. So anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Like I say, if you're feeling all healed and you're feeling like, well, now I'm just going to go out and date a bunch of people, you're just going to put yourself back into that low vibration of, especially the people are going to be low vibration. Like, why would you want to be healed and go out and date with people who are in low vibration? Like, you want to carry some other people's problems? I'm not into that anymore. So, but the more you become into alignment with yourself, and the more you find yourself doing the things you enjoy, that is where you're going to find, your love connection. And you don't need to go out and, have 100 guys that want to go out with you. It's just this one or girl or whatever, you know what I'm saying? There's I feel like there is like this one person who is like your perfect kind of match, like your perfect kind of person. But it's on like a vibration, and it's like your closest vibration. And that makes sure, and I'm sure there's a lot there. Like, I don't even know, like maybe we're not even to that point here. Like maybe this is still just walking up the steps to that closest vibration. The closest vibration, I think, is this love of yourself. I swear. That to me brings you the closest to purity, is loving yourself. And then to me, it's like the universe gives you a gift for loving yourself, and you get an opportunity to love somebody else. So I don't know, but you got to remember to love yourself. You got to love everyone, and you got to have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later.